What is going on? I'm Zedmod on a third account for Warships. Yes, I'm playing 3 accounts, fully intend to abandon one of them soon, but do make sure you check in that shop. There were 50 keys. Check there every day as you're adding code Zedmod to your shop. Not only do you get 50 keys, but you get at least 1 extra win per day just by having code Zedmod in your shop. Now, this account, as you can see here, where's my profile, was up at almost mid early 17 and then fell on down in a big way. I'm going to show you what to do if you've been relying on warriors and suddenly you're having a hard time. So using those keys, what I did was I went and got flares. Flares help warriors, but more importantly, they help grenadiers. So I've thrown a bunch of tokens into grenadiers. I'm also going to unlock Everspark on this account because that will help us get some wins. It will make that 4 engine room with Doom Cannon a little bit farther away. But for the casual player or someone who hasn't been in gold as long, such as this account, it's a good way to go. Now, my other 2 accounts, I'm sitting at number 114 global and somewhere down 128 global. So I've got 2 accounts. I had 2 in the top 100 or top 80 last night. Haven't played either of them today, so do consider subscribing if you want to see some more of that stuff. But what we're going to do here is, because we got flares, we've got medics, hopefully don't need medics. Some bases are starting to have those terrible, what are those things called? Having rocket launchers. So when you get rocket launchers and that whole front base, you'd need a boat of medics. But for a base like this, don't need any medics. They're not going to do anything good for us. And on top of that, we can keep our troops out of the range of most of this stuff by flaring down, and medics don't follow flares. So I am going to drop over here. We're going to get a flare as low down as we can. Then we're going to drop all of this stuff. 1 of those. Now, that set of critters was not a smart move. That was just dumb on my part. I am used to that hot pot being farther towards the front, which is why I've been throwing those critters. Getting the critters out has been very helpful as far as getting the hot pot to pop, but it's not super duper smart when it comes to getting anything else out. Need to keep that hot pot up or we're going to have a very bad time. And as you can see here, we are just cruising through this entire base by using grenadiers. You're going to get all the engine rooms. And when bases start to get a little bit trickier, you can just gren your way around them. I'll show you a replay on one of the top players' bases, the Commander J Doom. I'll show you how I was beat by grens. I used the base for all of 1 attack and then got absolutely crushed by a gren user, so I decided to abandon that base. I'm sure it works for Doom, but for the troops that I was using with it, it just was not making any sense to me at all. So we are going to throw a flare there. That way we know exactly where our troops are going to go, and then throw in that shock on the flamethrowers to keep our critters alive, which will also help us get rid of the engine room. Quick note, if you've never, ever played with grenadiers, shame on you. But I guess if you're HQ 10, you've never had grenadiers, you'll notice that they miss long. Grenadiers rarely miss short. They always miss long. So if you're going to, that's why Everspark's Critter Swarm is great, because your grens throw over top of the critters. You know what? While we wait for this person, I'll show you that replay. This is what I was talking about. So this was Commander J Doom's base as of last night. Anyways, as you can see, using the flags, then dropping the flare. Probably better to throw the flare to start with, but we're not gonna. I got whooped by this person. You can see that critters are distracting all of the things. Only had to use 1 shock. There's the second shock. All of the mines have been cleared. And then just walking through this. At this point, they're just getting free gunboat energy, making sure that the troops don't turn around backwards, and then flaring slightly forward so that they get moving forwards as opposed to backwards, and then keeping on moving to the left. Slowly but surely moving to the left. I don't know if this person had the GBE node or not, but you can see they're just walking through the base using max level Grenadiers. Such a great troop, and just crushing, like absolute crushville. Getting onto that final engine room. Reminder that you can flare close to the engine room so your Grens don't miss, but not really useful unless you're down to like your last 2 or 3 Grens. They had a lot of Grens left, so they did the smart thing. And has our opponent finished? Yes, they did. Big Bad Bill. Alliteration. Love it. Now, quick note before, I'm not going to show you the 4 engine room version of Grens, but just know that once you get to 4 engine rooms, those riflemen are on the path to rocket choppas, and if you're a hardcore warrior player and you're still getting engine rooms, don't waste your tokens back here on Grens. If you can hold out to rocket choppas, that's probably going to be better off for you. Max your rocket choppas and away you go. You're going to have that extra GBE and possibly that extra GBE back there. We're on a tangent though. What I was trying to say is those riflemen will be very, very helpful with Grenadiers. Getting, say, 3 boats of rifles, 5 boats of Grens, and then just releasing your rifles one by stinking little one. This account did fall out of gold a second ago before I got my Grenadiers, but with tick 2 or 3 Grenadiers, I was able to get some goodness out of this, so it all really depends. Now, with this base, this should be a very, very easy choice. We can shock this stuff. We can't shock that boom cannon, but if we go to the right-hand side, we can shock this stuff and that boom cannon won't reach. So we are 1,000% gonna go right. Figure out which side you wanna go to, get your flare out, and then get all of your troopy troops dropped, getting that shock right about there, and out comes the shock. We've got the hot pot shock. We've got the 2 mortars shock. Then we should be in a very, very good position. Just need to get 1 more shock out. Remembering that is just a Lego shock. We've talked about Lego shocks time and time and time again. Come on, get going. There we go. Now we're going to come all the way over to this right-hand side, doing the old pull-out maneuver, starting on the left, coming over to the right, and now we can get this last shock over on this left-hand side. Gonna do something a little bit precarious. We're gonna move over to this left, trying to get rid of that mortar and boom cannon and all the rest of stuff as fast as we can. Otherwise, that thing was just gonna pick us off from the side. So that's why I went to the left, even though that right-hand side was fully and completely opened up. A little bit of Tragically Hip reference there for those of you from the Canada. You can see our Grens are at like 0 health. This person is going to beat us almost definitely, but the fact is our Grens, we've got some Grens that are at like 0 health. They're still making their way along, and this base is set up to stop Grens. You can see they've got 2 machine guns back there. We're gonna have to make our way through that. Thankfully, we do have flares, so we can come over to about here. Just know that your Grens are probably going to walk towards that engine room if you don't flare. Bad things are going to happen, and we really, 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 really don't want that. So bit by stinking little bit. And you might be thinking maybe medics would be better here. I don't think so. It's very, very rare that medics are actually useful. Generally, you're better off not using medics and losing a couple Grens, and your medics, try medics if you really, really want to, but generally speaking, all Grens is going to be better. We've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Grens. Chances are we would have lost, say, 3 anyways to boom cannons and things, so I would avoid medics myself. Maybe later on you need some medics, or maybe you're going to get Kavan later, but for right now, Mini AZ Heater has beat us. I'm very curious to see which troops they used. Let's have a quick peek. Grens. All tanks. Okay, all tanks definitely a better solution against these bases, but for those of warrior players, if you're a warrior player, you don't want to go to tanks. My tank account is my highest account, but it's also the account that I like playing the least. This person's got 3 rocket launchers towards shore, so we might as well mix in 1 boat of those wonderful, wonderful dudes. And we're going to flare to the far left this time. Come on. Where is the left-hand side? There we go. getting all of our ladies and gentlemen's over, and then we're going to drop our medics as far left as we possibly can. Note that medics always walk towards the flag, though they don't. I changed my mind. They don't always walk. If they have nothing to heal, they walk towards the flags. We got a little bit lucky in that we gave them something to heal. And now we've got all of our medics in behind. These are only tick 1 medics. I am not wasting any tokens on medics. I know we're getting free tokens left, right, and center, and everyone's a winner or whatever they keep saying. Is that a... Who sings that song? Everyone's a winner, and maybe is that MIA perhaps? We're gonna get some critters out here because we've got lots and lots of them. Everspark also bringing us some critters, so bit by stinking little bit, we're gonna use critters to clear all of those stinking mines, and then we're just gonna come over to this left-hand side yet again. So critters, so incredibly useful, but again, it all comes down. I flared too late, so our come on, don't die, Sparky, don't die on us yet. Everspark's dead. So as soon as that boom cannon locks in on her, you're in a world of pain. Need to stay on top of that like nobody's business, but I did not. Saw that boom cannon turn, and then it was too late. Even if you use Critter Swarm or another troop steps in front, that boom cannon was already locked in. It was locked and loaded, so we were doomed from the outset. But here come some critters to distract that boom cannon for a second or two, and then our Grens are gonna go absolutely ham. We're gonna get all these engine rooms. Is it gonna be quick? No, but it's gonna be quicker than tanks. And my times have not been super duper good. My base is holding up. If you've got defensive building damage and you've got the hot pot, you're gonna do very well. I managed to get into 18 with shocks and tanks with no hot pot yesterday, but I think that window was very much luck and a little bit of skill. So I think that's going to be it for today. We're going to get that troop damage up 1 notch. Notice that I do have troop damage and building damage. Everspark is still tick 1. That really doesn't matter. All that really matters is that you've got Everspark there giving some critters out. Otherwise, you're going to be running a little bit low on GBE. If you don't want to go Everspark for whatever reason, which some of you very well could be doing, just keep in mind that maybe you want to go get that GBE node instead. GBE node is going to be as good as Everspark, likely. But it's going to mean that, one sec, need to get something. I was really hoping to get that hot pot to pop, but we can now that we've got a little bit of damage, get those medics out to support our boys in, I was going to say boys in blue, but I'm not sure where that came from. Probably from the Canucks, maybe? Let's get rid of that boom cannon, using those critters off to that side. We'll get one more shock on this side. I feel like there's a lot more talking when it comes to Grens. With Warriors, you're just worried about getting your shocks out at the right time and maybe throwing some critters in the right spot. With Grenadiers, you've got a little bit more time to yak and chat, for the better, for many players, but also for the worse, that you guys have to listen to me yak and chat a little bit more than before. Now, one other note, what you can do is save your GBE and throw all sorts of critters back here with 1 shock. But that's a little bit more precarious as well, because people have got shock mines next to their engine rooms in almost all cases. One thing you can do that I did not do, that I should have done way earlier, was throwing all of those. Let's go like this. Let's flare right here. We'll shock back here. Getting our Grens to throw over top of that gap, hitting that engine room over the gap, saving us a bit of time, making it so that we don't have to remove 3 other defenses. Silverchair rocks. I love that I got this account. For those of you who have never listened, Silverchair was like, what was that, like grade 8, grade 9? Frog Stomp, come on, that was a great album. Daniel Johns, I think the lead singer's name was. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. Sorry to beat you, Silverchair Rocks, but I love that your name came up. If you're out there and you're Silverchair Rocks, please comment. Every time I face that player, I get nostalgia. Anyways, I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to mouth guitar it. We'll leave it right there. Hopefully this video gave you a direction of where you can go next. Grenadiers are very viable at the 3 engine room level and the 4 engine room level. It's a bit of a gong show out there. Lots of fizzling happening. And Grenadiers, A, you don't lose too many of them. And B, with instant training, you've got decent reserve sizes. So sitting with 70, 45, like once we fill up all of our boats, you've got 38 left. You're not going to lose that many of them. And if you don't have instant training, do mix that medic in, because otherwise you're going to get super, super frustrated. There's an easy way for you to get to gold. Warriors are very fun, but you run out of troops so quickly. Anyways, that is going to be it for me. I am Zedmont in your creator boost, in your YouTubes, in your hearts and souls. Do consider clicking the bell, liking, subscribing, all those YouTubey things that I hate to nag about. But the stats don't lie. If I nag you, you guys will remember. So consider me that naggy dude that I shall talk to you soon, though. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmont. Peace.